Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Coach Nrgy.
And I'm Emmanuel.
All right. Another. We starting off with a bang. We starting off with a bang.
We're gonna roll with it.
Hey, we gonna start it off, dang. So today.
No, she ain't getting away from this one. We're gonna wait on her.
I know. Today
I don't know what you're
talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about
What's
this.
her stuff doing, Josh? What's she her stuff doing?
I don't know.
She tried it.
Trying to
She
deal.
tried it.
Trying to
She
deal.
tried it.
What I'm trying to do, what happened was the wrong button.
Hey,
Okay, not today.
Hey, so today's topic, right? So we're gonna talk about sexual satisfaction. We're gonna talk a little bit about that, and we're gonna go as far as sexual satisfaction is concerned. We're gonna talk about should people fake it when it's not great. Okay, when it's not up to par, should people fake it? Right? Now, the reason why that topic all came about and stuff like that is because, you know, sometimes depending on how long you've been with a person, you know, there's feelings involved. You know, you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings when, you know, things don't go your way sometimes in that area, you know? So when it comes to actually, you know, protecting someone's feelings, but also achieving that mark of satisfaction, do you think that it's okay to just say, hey, just pat them on the back, hey, this is good, it's okay, it's all right? Do you think it's okay to fake it? Or do you say something, right? Or do you say, hey, we need a do-over? like that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you think? Like, is it okay to just say, hey, we gonna fake this one? We're gonna just take that to a fake there, or we're gonna fake something? What we think?
Oh, for real? Now y'all quiet?
I mean,
I can't relate. Okay, I can't relate personally, so I will add perspective where I can. But
my thing is, you have not heard those stories. You have not heard no one say that.
I have heard stories.
Okay.
I thought they were myths. I thought they were myths, but I've heard them.
Okay.
I've heard them. I've heard them.
Clearly, everybody has heard those stories.
Now,
okay?
I will say this. Every story I've heard was from a woman. So I have not heard a story from a male when it comes to faking an orgasm. So I haven't heard that. But I have heard stories from women about the specific topic at hand.
Yeah. But to go a little bit deeper than that, not just faking orgasms from that, you know, orgasm standpoint, but just satisfaction in general, right? If whatever that act was not up to par, have you heard those stories too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I do believe that is big satisfaction. Yeah. Yes, I do. 100%. Okay, 100%. I believe it. They may not, you know, acknowledge it to the level that they would really acknowledge it, but I think there is some faking of satisfaction. It's pretty common. I think it's pretty common.
See?
I have to say so myself.
See?
Yeah.
Do we all think that's pretty common, or do you think that that's just a myth?
No, it's very common.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Hey, y'all quick. Like, you could have thought about it.
Yeah, y'all quick. Aphrodite was real quick.
You did it. Y'all are unison. Like, okay, dang.
Wait, what?
Y'all was in unison. Like, it was like y'all just thought about it. Like, boom, yeah, that happened.
More than you.
Oh, okay, wow. But that's the thing, though. Like, when it comes to, that's a very touchy area for people. I ain't gonna lie, that's a very touchy.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of pride involved.
Irritation for me if they have a conversation from a female.
I mean, I think that would be touching for like anybody though. I don't think it'd just be for just the male person in general. I think that would be like for anybody that may think that they're good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be a real shock to the system when somebody tell you, hey, I don't know, okay? This didn't work out too well, okay?
So far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like nobody likes to be graded on that subject. Okay, that's a hard subject to grade on. Okay.
It is. Mm-mm. It is.
Then when you try to take a retest, no.
The retest is harder. The retest is harder.
The pressure is on.
The pressure there.
The pressure is on.
Yeah, it's pressure there. You got a lot more eyes on you at that point. Okay. Like what are you doing? Okay.
That's if they get your retest.
What?
That's if they get your retest.
Yeah. I think that's all situational though. Like if
it is. I said
yeah. Like if this is like someone that, you know, a person may be committed to and stuff like that and been in a relationship with that person for a long time.
Well, of course.
Yeah, you know, you're a retest. It's okay.
You're a retest. It's a retest.
Yeah.
What I do think is at the first sign of disappointment, I don't think it should be specifically addressed. Because it's something that's very sensitive, like you said. I think that anything can happen. There are a lot of factors that surround satisfaction and the giving and receiving of it. And I think that, you know, it is important to be transparent about your satisfaction level that you're receiving from someone else. I think it is important to be transparent about it, but I think that it's one of those issues that you really want to bring it up if it's a real problem, you know, or when it becomes a real problem. I don't think for the one time that you don't get satisfied, that's when you start attacking someone's ability to satisfy you. I don't think that's kind of how it should be. I think it should be after a consistent trend of unsatisfactory instances, then that's when you want to kind of, you know, not at the time that one, you know, isolated incidents, just like, hey, babe, you know, I've been thinking, you know, in X, Y, and Z, and then that's when you kind of communicate the concern. I think in my mind, I feel like that's kind of how you want to approach that, because it is sensitive.
Been thinking.
Oh yeah, you know, I was, you know, I've been noticing.
Some things ain't right.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've been noticing over the last X period of times, X, Y, and Z, you know, what do you think about, you know, it's really good to go open, you know, very broad, you know, what do you think about our, you know, relationship when it comes to that stuff, you know, and see what they say. And then I think that's probably the safest way to enter it. And then you gotta share your thoughts from there.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I don't think you should just like wait per day to address certain things. I'm just one of those people. I don't think you should address it in the moment. No, don't do that. Okay, don't address it in the moment. Okay, don't address it in the moment. Like after everything's all said and done, you just kind of laying there. That is the worst time to address it. Don't address it then. Okay, don't address it then. Okay. Like wait till the next day to address something like that, okay? But I don't think you should wait no more than like a day to actually address something like that. Because especially if this is like somebody that you know you've been with for a long time and stuff like that, they may be going through something, right? Like there may be an actual like issue, and the longer that you wait and stuff like that, you can't really support or whatever your case may be. You can't really do anything about that. But for me, yeah, I think, you know, no more than a day. Just say something, you know. Are you doing okay? Is everything all right? Do you need support? Like,
you gonna take it there?
No, I'm saying that do you need support with anything? I didn't say directly that particular area. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you address that particular area in the topic, then yeah, that will come off a little bit, wrong. But that's just a broad statement. Are you okay? Do you need anything, or do you need support? Like it's a broad statement.
And then what if they say? What if they say, "No, I'm good"?
Then you just kind of go. Then you just kind of go from there with your questioning. But that opens up the door to more conversation. Like you have to open that door. That's the thing. Like you have to open that door somehow. You can't just walk into a subject like that and automatically think that subject is gonna go okay. Like that's gonna be okay. Like you have to kind of get the conversation rolling first, and then you talk about that kind of stuff. Like that's what I think. Like I don't think you should just roll into a conversation like that, especially if it's something that sensitive and it's that personal. Yeah, I don't think you just roll into that conversation like that. Like that's the first topic that you talk about.
I think you can. It just depends on the approach. Like if you go open-ended, like I was saying earlier, there's generally not a defensive response to an open question like that. Because like you said, it won't be at the time of the incident. Yeah. So it's not like it's just gonna be the elephant in the room. It's just gonna be a random conversation that you're having with your significant other. And it happens to be about something that's bothering you. And they will soon find that out through the course of the conversation. But
that's the thing. That's how such conversations go wrong to me, though, because you can ask an open-ended question about sex or your sex life or whatever the case may be, and people are going to automatically start. They will, but automatically going to start turning. Like, why is he bringing up this subject, right? Like, why is it this topic that he wants to talk about now? People going to automatically be thinking about that kind of stuff. But automatically they're going to start looking at, okay, is there something wrong with me, or is it us? Like, why did you bring up this topic? So people can get defensive even though you ask an open-ended question. Like they can get defensive about it. That's what I think.
I get what you're saying. I guess that would be assuming that y'all don't talk about things that aren't always like the focus point of the exact moment. But if you're always talking about all kinds of things, right, in your relationship, like that's not going to be something that's just going to trigger them. Like it could still be, right? But there's a lower chance if y'all are always talking about things like anything, like random things, in life, your relationship, it's less likely they'll just be immediately offended. And if they are, maybe that might give an indication that they are insecure about that, right? Because as two people in a committed relationship, like that is important, right? So that should be, a conversation that two people are having regardless, even if it's good. If it's good, there should be some conversation, right? Okay, how you want to make sure you're in a position where you're pleasing your partner. So there should be conversation in general, like just so that you can better be able to do that. So I think an open-ended question like that should hopefully not be received as offensive. If it is, then I think it's a necessary conversation to have. In all relationships at some point, good or bad.
I think it is too. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it is too. I just think that there are some subjects in relationships that are sensitive to people. Like there are some subject matters that are like, okay, this is a touchy subject.
Yeah.
And it may not be touchy for you, but it may be touchy for the other person.
It's touchy. It's touchy. I think it's touchy. I don't know. I would think it's touchy for anyone. And even if it's not just because of themselves, it would be because of their ability to satisfy their partner, right? So if you think outside of yourself, you're now thinking, okay, my partner may not be satisfied. So like, that's touchy. Like we want our partners to be happy. We want them to be satisfied. So like, if that conversation happens, it's going to be touchy. Even if I think I got the best skills in the world, like I'm still going to be like, oh, okay, maybe she don't like these skills like that. Maybe she has a different preference, because there's all different kinds of preferences that people have, So like, regardless, if that conversation gets brought up, there's going to be a certain level. I think there's going to be a certain level of like, okay, but I think it still should be, had. For sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about those people that need to be taught?
Taught?
Oh.
I think everybody needs to be taught. Because it's not.
Yeah. Because what your, let's just say your past partner or ex may have liked, doesn't mean that the other person is going to like that same thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have to teach them.
See? On to it.
Because I'm always curious about that because, sometimes, you're right. Sometimes certain things need to be instructed. You need to be an instructor. Like, hey, do this.
Like that.
Do this.
I like that.
Yeah.
Down there, around there. Yeah.
But the question is, how do you do that in the moment? Like, how do you instruct in the moment?
You just instruct.
Yeah.
I think
you can either do it with words or with motions,
okay.
right? You know how if a guy and a girl is on a dance floor and they say the guy leads, and so that's a certain way that he puts pressure on her back to have her go a certain way. You can do the same thing with your partner. If they're too rough, you can ease them off or whatever, or if they're not enough, you can pull them into you, and whisper certain things to them, like, yeah, I ain't about to.
Hey, you doing good? You doing good? Yeah, you doing good?
That one ran right to the trap.
And y'all were quiet. Ain't nobody come save me.
You're like, yeah.
You went full speed. Hey, you was full speed ahead.
Oh man. You're like, yeah, keep going.
No, but I believe that you can talk about it or correct it in the moment. I know y'all were saying earlier that maybe wait till after, but I think it's a hybrid, and I think that it's safer to do at the beginning because, both people know that, okay, this is new for us. We don't know each other that well yet. We don't know, what each other likes. And so that will be the time of saying, hey, okay, well, I don't like it like that, but can you do this instead? And then your partner says, well, I like this way, so have that conversation beforehand. And then in the moment, the expectation is, okay, well, let me know, how this feels, does this feel good? Whatever, ask the questions, in a very subtle, seductive or sultry way. But still in the moment, to me, like, I'm going to talk about it in the moment, but I'm going to do it very gently as well. And, I'm not going to do something or say something in a way that's going to hurt someone's feelings, because I wouldn't want them to do that to me either. But I'm definitely going to let them know and still direct them. I'm still going to, use my, yep. Mm-hmm.
What's the rest of it?
What's the You can't be like that, ma'am.
This is not the After Dark show, okay?
It's not. Oh, yes, it is. They're gonna understand
What? You was doing so well.
No, but for real, like,
we waited on our ending. The mic dropper, the yep, we're waiting.
You literally, what you can say is, softer or.
That is crazy, boy. Facial expression.
Or, just be like, not so hard, or,
you can say, anything.
Say
whatever it is.
Or rough, or gentle.
Yeah.
Oh, and it makes you, you be like, oh, he need a little bit harder. Like, slow that down. I like that right now.
Right.
And
then when they get in that right groove, then that's when you reward them and say, just like that, right there. So, you know what I'm saying? You give them.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Josh, so how did they get to faking it?
Huh?
How does that happen?
Hey,
where does faking come into play?
Okay, so And this is just the thing. I think faking comes into play where I'm gonna tell you the story, right? I think faking comes into play when people don't know how to do oral correctly on women, right? Because there's a wrong way to do oral on women. Okay, there is. Okay, when you are with somebody that is inexperienced at doing oral on women, like it's more like
it's a disaster.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. There you go.
You just tell them to get up because that's not gonna work.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
No, I don't know about that.
I'm just saying. Like that's when faking might come into play right there, because it's like, okay, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, this is enough. Let's try something. Like, that's what I'm saying.
You don't just tell them to get up like that, but you do.
Yeah, I know, but in your head, that's what.
You know, let's switch it up a little bit. Maybe let me get on top of something. Because it's a disaster when you have a person that just does not know how to perform oral. It's tough.
Yes. I've heard that story a lot. Not me personally, but I heard that story, okay? Okay?
But then you gotta say, like, you know what I'm saying, you really got to, you know what I'm saying, maximize all that stuff. Yeah, you tell it to move.
Bruh, I'm not faking it. Nope. We either gonna go through some corrections, or I'm just gonna pull you up and let's switch it. I'm not faking.
She gonna point it out right here.
Hey, shout out to Nrgy for being a real one. So all the fellas, I know y'all appreciate women like that. You know, just be real with us. Don't lead us right. Don't take it out, all right? You know, just keep it real with us, all right?
Yes.
But it does happen. Like, they do fake it too. Like, when we have fake it, they do. It does happen, you know, just to save face and so the person won't get so bad. Sometimes people don't know how to approach those conversations, even in the mix, you know? So, you know, they just fake it and they talk about it later.
Yeah. Or you have those other instances where people finish too quick.
No, that's horrible.
I've read that's fairly normal.
Yeah, it happens.
What now?
I've read in some of my studies that's fairly normal.
Okay, so this you know what's funny about that?
It can't be consistent though.
I mean, I can't relate.
That is that's the thing. Consistency, that's the thing, right?
It cannot be consistent.
I mean, normal is consistent.
I don't understand, like, even when I read stuff, I understand, especially from a male point of view, like, they get too excited, that kind of stuff. So I've read all that kind of stuff. But you can't be that excited all the time. Something wrong with this thing.
Hey, maybe you just a wonderful woman. Hey, you know, give yourself some credit.
That's inconsistency. No.
Yeah.
Give yourself some credit.
Well, how do you...
Hey, y'all women, give yourself some credit, okay?
I'm not.
Okay, but what do you do after you give yourself credit, though? Like, what do you do after
you
that?
Still unsatisfied.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just...
Then what do you do?
Then you gotta have a conversation. You gotta have a conversation with them.
Oh, I gave myself credit. I'm still satisfied. So then after about 5 tries, you gotta go have a conversation. So I've been unsatisfied 5 times.
If I was a woman, I wouldn't wait 5 tries. Okay, I would wait.
How do you feel as a pick? What do you think? How far do a pick? How long do you take a female short?
When you say wait, what you mean?
Like, had a conversation after
I would say 2, maybe 3.
No, one time you need to have a conversation. No.
See, that's too aggressive in my opinion.
It's not aggressive. It's like when y'all in a relationship and y'all don't talk about all this, just like Nrgy said. Like, so you want me to accept that you're gonna be a 2-second dude.
That a 2-second dude is not made from one occurrence. So based off what you're saying, this is good.
Well, we just need to know. It's a need to know conversation.
Well, the thing is, maybe it wasn't like that with the other women. So if y'all had that conversation, you're like, oh, I'm good. Hey, you know, I'm marathon man. All right. Hey, who knows? You know, it can be different. You know, so I mean,
So we gonna play it your way. When do you have the conversation then?
when do I have the conversation?
Like, when do the female have the conversation?
Oh, yeah, I would say like
it's not the first occurrence. When the second or the third or the fourth?
First occurrence is unfortunate.
Okay.
The second occurrence is a little concerning, and I'm fine with the woman making that call then. But I think third is ideal because now there's a trend, right? Now there's a consistent trend where you can say like, it wasn't just once, it wasn't just twice. Now this is now the norm. Like we've been 3 times in a row. Like I'm unsatisfied. We need to figure this out. And I think 3 is reasonable. 2, I get it. You know, you want to be fulfilled, you know, but I think 3 is like a reasonable time where someone could be like, yeah, I've been dropping the bag. I don't know what's going on, you know, like, and then y'all can figure it out from there. Now, if I was a woman, I can't relate, but I know it would be at least 2 or 3. It wouldn't be 1. It wouldn't be 1. That's my thoughts on that.
Interesting.
And I don't think I would ever fake it either. But I know sometimes, like with male ego comes into play, and you don't want your partner's ego to start to be impacted.
You do. Okay, this does way too. On the flip side of that, some women, not all women, may not be the greatest at oral eating.
Right. That's true.
And that might require teachable moments as well. Like it might require.
But I'm pretty sure it's not. And for you all, the guy, she's not the greatest, especially for a male that really likes oral sex.
Yeah, that's a teachable moment. So like I would say 2 chances.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not a hypocrite. Okay, definitely not 1. Okay, 1 could be you might have been nervous, hit or miss. You know, 2. I think 2 is reasonable. Now, this me personally, I think it's easier for women when it comes to satisfying a man. I just think that I think that because it's really simple. It's simple both ways. But I mean, I think there's a higher level of simplicity. Okay, for the woman, I do. And hey, we can open up a can of worms if you want. Hey, I like that. Okay, but I think there's a higher level of simplicity when it comes to the woman. Yeah.
Go in.
I forgot he's got this one.
No, you got this one. Go ahead. I want to hear. Go ahead. What you got to say?
I forgot he's got this one.
Let's go.
I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that. First of all, you know what I'm saying? Especially, it depends on the woman, because not every woman likes to give it oral. So she ain't took the time to teach herself how to do it. And especially when it was if her prior partner did not require it. So that ain't even on her conversation. That ain't even on her brain like, oh, I gotta give my new partner oral, and now, you know what I'm saying? Unless y'all have a conversation. And it's very stressful for a person who does not really, I'm not even gonna say they're not experienced, but they don't really do it. They're not experienced.
Oh, I agree.
You tell them then what?
I agree with that.
Right, so then you can't say it's simple, and it's a simple thing. No, because men can be very difficult. Oh, just the pop. Oh, I like it right here. Right here. That's no. Oh, just put it all in your mouth. Like, that's nice.
I mean,
I can't fit all in my mouth.
I get what you're saying. So why do you think that the majority of women never are fulfilled if it's so simple for men to do it?
What's simple for men to do? Oral?
Yeah.
It's not simple for them to do. That's why you have problems. We have these conversations.
If it's simpler for the man than it is for the female, why is it that all these females are going unsatisfied?
I'm just trying to figure out where did the "it's simpler for me" and thing come from?
I think I said
Okay, because I don't think it.
I don't think so.
I don't think it may be. I don't think it may be as simple as.
Men have
I'm not saying this.
how they like their oral.
I'm not saying it's
They might not want to feel teeth.
for anyone that's inexperienced. It's not going to be simple at all. I do want to
Even
be.
with experience, it's still like if you got a new partner, it's certain things that new partner like.
Right. So like when I say simpler, there could be two things that's excruciatingly difficult, but one has to be easier or simpler. So like both are hard, right? I'm not trying to discredit either. Like I don't want it to come across that way. All I was saying is that based off of what I've heard from different people, different studies, women are generally not satisfied. So I'm thinking, I've never been a woman, I've never done that, but I'm thinking that it must be more difficult for a male to do it than it would be a woman, based on the fact that it seems like most dudes aren't getting it right. That's all I'm saying. That's
Could
it.
the satisfaction or the lack thereof be tied to maybe the lack of emotional connection and affection versus the actual act, the physical act of having intercourse? Could it be more that, women typically need the emotional connection, the foreplay, the things that lead up to it versus, that could be the lack, the part that lacks, to where what you're reading, it says that women are more dissatisfied as opposed to the actual action of having sex.
Yeah, I think that's 1,000,000% true. That's honestly, I don't believe that a woman can actually have an orgasm if there is an emotional attachment with the person, with their partner. So like, that's not the same for men, right? But I think with a woman, it's a lot deeper when you get to that level of satisfaction. There has to be, in my belief, there has to be some type of like emotional connection or very strong connection with their partner, or very high level of fondness with their partner for that to happen.
Yeah,
and I can correct me because I'm not a woman.
No, I think you're right. In order for a woman to have an orgasm, you have to relinquish control.
Right.
Like you have to relinquish control and trust the person that you're with. And that's very difficult to, especially if you're like being in control in your life, right? Like you like having control over certain things. It's kind of hard, even in that standpoint, to relinquish control of someone else and allow them to navigate your body, per se. Like it's very difficult to actually do that, because that means that you have to get out of your own head. You got to focus in that moment, and then you got to allow yourself to just kind of let go in order for that to happen. And I think that's a combination of, yes, connection, but it's also a combination of skill. Because if you're an unskilled person, even though you do have an emotional connection with somebody, you still may not achieve that orgasm, because there's buttons that have to be pushed. Like you have to know what to actually do in order for a person to actually get there.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
That's true.
But with that being said, it's something that I wanted to bring up. Okay. So part of, satisfaction, right, and the lack thereof, I think that really what can really affect the satisfaction thing is, yes, one, skill, two, I would say connection, because we talked about that, and I also think hygiene.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to put that out there, right? Like,
hygiene might be like higher on that scale, man.
I just wanted to throw that in there. I mean,
it might be maybe number one on that scale, bro. I don't know. I think we might be undervaluing it.
I'm just saying, because people, they discount that part, right? Because I mean, most people don't want to, like, especially when it comes to oral, most people don't want to go there because of certain reasons. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but people don't always talk about that part. It's like, like, oh, they ain't good at it. But did you look at the conditions which we operate in, right? You look
That's
at the
true.
conditions.
That's true. That's 100% true.
There's a lot of factors there, okay? Like,
That's 100% true. I get that. Hygiene might be number one.
she's saying.
So nobody's gonna want to even put themselves in that position if they have questions about your hygiene.
Yeah.
They're not gonna relinquish anything. Okay. It's like, you. Yeah, I agree. I think that's
It's one of those things that people don't talk about it, right? Like, people don't talk about that. They always talk about, you know, the person was subpar, you know, things weren't great, stuff like that. Nobody does that review. Like, did we check all the facilities? Is everything up to par and stuff like that? Because a lot of times that may be it too.
Yep.
That's true.
Hey. But, you know, that satisfaction thing and, you know, how people look at that, it's, man, it's so common and such an interesting topic. It is. Man, so funny. I'm thinking of another scenario. I'm trying to figure out how to actually say it. Oh, man. So I think that the satisfaction thing, I was just thinking, how do you actually tell somebody that they're not great? Is there an actual good way to actually say that?
You don't tell them they're not great, in my opinion.
No, not in those words, but I mean, honestly, if a person tells you that in whatever words, right? Like in whatever words you may choose to use,
It's still not gonna be.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna.
I think if you like, hey, babe, you know, I really like this. I really like that. Like, if they want to please you, they should be like, oh, okay, she likes this. Okay, he likes that. I need to do this. You know, so like, through that, you're essentially telling the person very indirectly that what they're doing isn't what you like. And you're refocusing them on what you like more so than what you don't like, right? Opposed to saying, yeah, it sucks or whatever. It's like, it probably sucks because they're not doing what you like, right? So I think the conversation should be geared towards what you like. And it's just, you know, like I said, a conversation you're having with them, and you just tell them what you like. Like, that's a great way. If they really want to please you, that's a great way for them to get the idea and at least try what you like. And if they are trying it, even if they're not doing it exactly right, that's where we kind of go back to what Nrgy was saying. We can kind of like shift them and guide them the right way. But at least they are in the right book now. Like, now they're in the right book. You just got to get them into the right chapter. So, yeah. That's kind of how I think it would help.
So, what do you think about those situations where people bring toys into the equation?
Why not?
Try to fix certain things. Is that acceptable to fix certain things?
I'm not a big fan of it.
I say it's personal preference. I don't like artificial stuff on or in me. Like, I'm not a fan of that at all. You know, I don't want nothing artificial in me, but can we edit that out?
No.
I agree with you, but not for the same reason, bro. I agree with you for different reasons.
Please edit that out.
There's nothing wrong with that, okay?
Nothing wrong with it.
We all adults here, okay? It is.
It's a personal preference. If you like something, then you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But it's still, it's personal preference. It is personal preference. If both people are into it, cool.
And they into
Whatever
it.
works for them, works for them.
Yeah. Okay. Because to me, I think if a person has to bring in like, toys or anything like that, I think most people might, take that a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like they might,
But if they already do, that's a whole totally different conversation.
Yeah.
But that's part of the sex talk that you need to have anyway. When y'all first starting off, like, your name was said, I like this, but I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all need to have that conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
The flower is first, the rose.
The what now?
The rose.
Man, I heard people say that thing trash, but I got it.
Trash.
What? The little rose.
Oh, the rose. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the little rose vibrator thing.
I think it's pretty popular.
Hey, you know what else is pretty popular? Those little ones, those little white ones. Those little things you plug in. It's like a little, like a massager. It's like that big. Silly, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I can't.
Aphrodite over there, she looking at.
I can't believe.
So I can't tell you if they're great or not.
Hey, I heard them say they're great.
Ah!
I was told, but I don't know.
See? But yeah, I heard them say.
They look like they would be shook, so I don't know about that.
Oh man, that's funny.
Maybe it's great for a rough day. I don't know.
Like experimentation right there. Experimentation. Dude.
Yeah, you just have to have your limit. You know what your limit is? You just stay right there within your limitation.
Oh. But that's the premise I think of this conversation, I think. So where do we land though? Like should people fake it? Should people not fake it? Where do we land on? No? Yes? Maybe? Don't?
It's a maybe. Even though I prefer not to fake it.
Situation.
It's situations, so it's maybe,
You said the situation.
I don't know. What's a good reason to fake it?
Protect somebody's feelings?
But does that help the relationship?
Nope.
Of course not.
So is that really a good reason?
It may be a good reason to you at a time.
So
I mean, when you in this thinking, it's probably a good reason then until you got to really screw us up.
Mm-hmm.
But after so long, you gonna get tired of faking it. And
then, if your partner is faking it that long and you don't notice something is wrong.
I mean, that's pretty typical. People don't know. people don't know. That's pretty typical. Right?
If the person is faking one time, okay, but a consistent fake, something is wrong.
Something is wrong to the faker, but the person.
Not just on the person, just the one that's faking is something wrong too. Like, is something wrong?
But if the person who's faking it is faking it well, the other person may never know. And then it's nothing wrong to them. They're great. And then the faker is unsatisfied, and then they're mad.
But do you know it's going to turn into, like, they're not going to be able to continue that's real well.
That's my point. So why fake it in the start?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the first time, like you said, like, don't say nothing the first time. Give them 2 times. Okay, we give them 2 times of patience. Okay.
But fake it.
A consistent faking all the time, that's not going to be worth it. That's not going to go well, especially for a person who has a very high sex drive.
I think if it's not good, you shouldn't fake it, but you shouldn't like disrespect it. It's kind of just like, all right, I'm here. Yeah. And if they ask, they ask. But I don't think you should. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of faking. I'm
a fan of it, but it's not like it doesn't happen.
I know it happens. I just was, trying to understand why and what the benefits were. And I don't know that it helps.
I think it's just a moment situation.
Okay.
I don't really believe that they trying to get something beneficial out of it. It's like at that moment, do I really tell my partner whatever, because it might not come out right. Whatever the situation is, you never know what prior conversation they had prior to that. So that's why I say it's situational.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's like, oh, you need to stay consistent. That's not what I don't agree with it at all. But whatever, I think it's a moment situation. It's like a moment situation.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin the moment. You don't want to hurt their feelings. But right, I agree. If it is to be done, it should definitely be a very temporary thing, like max twice. Max. Anything more than twice, then I can't be with that. But I think for the sake of your partner, I can see that. I can see why it would be done, but I don't think it should happen more than twice. At that point, you probably hurt in a relationship. It's gonna be harder for them to accept that they're not doing a good job because they thought that they were for the past 2 or 3 times. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we end. Well, I'll let Nrgy summarize. She's real good at that.
No, so for me, I say just find subtle ways of how to have that conversation, whether it be beforehand or in the moment. We've shared a few different examples of how you can successfully do that and pull that off without being disrespectful or without hurting the other person's feelings, and still making sure that time is not being wasted and you're also being satisfied as well. And then just understanding that when you're new at intercourse with your new partner or whatnot, understand that not everyone likes things the same way. And so both people need to be open to learning new experiences or doing things a different way based off of their now new partner. This is Coach Nrgy. These are my thoughts, and I am done speaking.
That was quick. I thought there was going to be more. You put it a little bit more sauce on it.
No, I put the I bring the sauce earlier.
Yeah, she gave us enough sauce for that.
My biggest thing with this particular topic is that sexual satisfaction and anything involving sex, especially in relationships, should be about the experience. Like the actual experience of being with that person. And not just looked at as, this is just a sexual encounter, this is just a sexual act. I think a lot of people get kind of confused and they lock themselves into, okay, it's time for us to have sex or whatever, but it's just sex in their head. It's not like, okay, it's not about pleasing each other per se, it's about the actual act, physical act per se. So even when it comes to like faking it or dissatisfaction or stuff like that, I think that people should try to explore their boundaries. Like explore even like personal boundaries, but also sexual boundaries, like explore. Like that's the only way that you'll be able to learn the other person, learn what they like, learn what they don't like, learn what you may be into. You don't know, especially if you're an inexperienced person, you don't know. It's okay to be open-minded when it comes to, exploring certain things about your partner and then about yourself. I think a lot of people kind of get locked into, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to try that, or what is that? That's weird. Kind of hard to say when you're with your partner though, because that may turn that other person off because they may be into that, right? Like they may be into something that you may not be into. But that's kind of what I kind of see sometimes, is that sometimes when one person's into something, the other person's not, the other person just kind of shut them down and not even hear it out. Like you may not hear what the other person has to say, which leads to dissatisfaction in that area because, that may be something that they like. So I would definitely say, as a, little wrap up here, is keep an open mind, especially when it comes to your partner. Like there's no wrong or right there because both of you are in that same umbrella there. Like there's not a wrong or right thing there. It's two people. It's you and that person. Like it's okay. Like people get it wrong, people get it right sometimes. But definitely don't be afraid to have the conversation when it is wrong. Like when it doesn't go right. at some point have that conversation, because if you consider most relationships, you want a substantially long relationship, and consistency with inconsistency in that area, frustrating, right? It gets frustrating. You get there's may anger, some resentment may start building and stuff like that. Especially some tension if you hypersexual individual and you actually like sex to be enjoyable. Oh yeah, that's gonna get frustrating at a point. So definitely, don't run from the conversations. Don't try to avoid it. But time and place is everything. So don't try to have this conversation when a person at work. Don't try to have this conversation when they're driving in their car. Don't try to have this conversation. Don't try to pick the time, pick the appropriate place to have a conversation like that. Like that's the best thing I can say, because sometimes it did. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna leave back to that. Don't do this over no text message, people. Don't do it. Okay, don't try to text somebody. Hey, I need to talk to you about this sex thing. No, don't do it. Okay, like no. Mm-mm.
But those words alone, like, make people cringe. You be like, I need to talk.
Mm-mm. Don't do it. Mm-mm.
So about last night.
Setting yourself up. Okay, so set up.
Yeah, that's
set up.
yeah. About last night might be scarier for me than I need to talk to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm telling you. Time and place. You got to have the conversation, though. I think that's the gist of it. Don't avoid it. Be as compassionate and empathetic as you can. But it's okay to have it. Okay? So another episode of Added Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Coach Nrgy.
I'm Aphrodite.
And I'm Emmanuel.
Had a conversation.